ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark once again. Good morning. Right now it's just a little bit past 10:45 in the morning. It is a little bit breezy outside. It's a cold 28 degrees. This snow has no signs of stopping as of now. I looked at the backyard this morning, and there's already 13. I'd say about 13 inches on the table. That's kind of like how I know, just to get an unofficial estimate on how much snow there is on the ground, by kind of like measuring how much is stacked up on the table. Now I'll show you in the pictures, but it's coming down pretty hard, as you can see. I'd say the snow is on the powdery side, but you can also see that it can also stick onto branches and bushes like this, so it's a little bit of a mix of powdery and wet. You can tell it's powdery because a lot of this is the result of the blowing and drifting from the high winds. In Middlesex County, New Jersey, is under a blizzard warning until Sunday afternoon. So definitely a dangerous storm. This is a massive storm. And just to think, we had 75 degrees on Christmas Day, and now we're faced with possibly getting 2 feet of snow, or even more, by the time Sunday morning rolls on. So that's it for now. I'll probably come out here once every 2 or 3 hours to see how much snow has changed, and we'll go from there.
It was my request that he the Port Authority close the bridges and tunnels coming from New Jersey to downstate New York. And I want to thank the Port Authority and the governor in particular for their cooperation. And all the men and women who are out there today, thousands and thousands of public servants who are doing extraordinary work under difficult circumstances. You don't see them, but they're driving the trucks, and they're driving the trains, and they're part of the DPW crews, and they left their family and they left their homes to come out and serve the public. And it really is inspirational, and it's extraordinary. And we thank each and every one of them, and we want them to be safe. With that, any questions for myself, the county executives, or the MTA officials?
Governor, in terms of economic damage of the storm, what the state's going to be seeing in the losses? I know it's falling on a weekend, but what are your concerns right now happening in terms of loss of business and other expenses?
Luckily, you're right, it did fall on a weekend. It's a Saturday, probably a Saturday and a Sunday for the storm itself. We'll see what Monday brings. We're doing our best to get back to work on Monday. The economic damage will be nothing like what we went through in the past. Superstorm Sandy was horrendous.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, once again. It's about 5:20 in the afternoon, evening, whatever you may call it, and it's still snowing. The storm is still going strong, even though 2 hours ago there was a little bit of a lull in the action, but the intensity has certainly picked up where it left off prior to that. So a lot has happened within the last few hours that it snowed. If you really want to know how bad this storm was, well, you don't need to look no further than what you're seeing on the table with all that stack of snow. That has to be just close to 2 feet. Say maybe 20 inches. I don't know for sure. Tomorrow, when the snow ends, I'll probably get some tape measure and measure that stack of snow. But I listed some of the biggest changes that happened over the last few hours. All major roadways in New Jersey and in New York, including the Garden State Parkway and the LIE, they've shut down. there is a ban for everybody in New York, not to be traveling on the road. The MTA and LIRR have also shut down their services due to the snow. Being that it's just a little past 5:20, almost 5:30, so we're just close to 21 hours of nonstop snowfall. The blizzard warning is still in effect for central New Jersey, southern New Jersey, pretty much all of New Jersey except for the northern parts, and parts of New York are still under a blizzard warning until Sunday. It's very windy outside, and there's a lot of blowing and drifting, and I actually been outside without the camera, just looking at how violently the trees will sway. Right now, if you look at the trees there, I don't know if it's hard to see or not, but it doesn't look like it's blowing a lot. The wind has calmed down, although you'll get the occasional gust. But I have a friend here who's staying, hanging out with during the snowstorm, and both of us were actually gonna go out, like maybe around 4 o'clock today, and go to a local park that is in walking distance of my house to film just how, to film the visibility and how, it looks, there's a lack of visibility with all the blowing and drifting, as well as just capture, the full force of it. However, due to a little stupidity on my part, I had left the camera without putting a memory card. So we actually got to the park. Here's my friend right here. We got to the park, and I turned on the camera, and there was no memory card. So we had to actually walk all the way back home in the deep snow, and we just kind of like called it quits at this point. It's getting dark out there. It's probably going to be tough to see anyway, even if I change the exposure. But I want you to sound off, what do you think of this storm?
This is the worst snowstorm we had in years. This is a typical Chicago winters.
We had a friend who lives in Chicago, and he's experienced the typical Chicago winter before.
He may have experienced worse than this.
Yeah, when you think typical, this is a typical Chicago winter, which means for him it's nothing, right?
Yeah, for us it's something.
This may even end up being worse than the blizzard of 2010. Do you remember that one? That was our junior year of high school.
2011.
2010, it was the day after Christmas.
Yeah, it was horrible, our snow back then, too.
Yeah.
We haven't seen, roads are covered, everything was covered in snow for, weeks.
Uh-huh. But there's going to be a warming trend, and that's always good, because the snow will melt. But it's just amazing to think that we had a 75-degree weather on Christmas Eve. I went to church with shorts as if I came from the golf course. And now here we are with a storm that can definitely, by the time it ends, will have probably 2 feet. So, you glad this happened on a weekend? You're not taking any classes in the weekend, are you?
No, it's better on the weekend.
Yeah. Some people do take their Saturday classes, but for me, in particular, this snowstorm definitely wrecked the show. I'm part of a musical. I have separate videos on that, and I also mentioned the snowstorm on one of those videos. But we had our opening night. We had our opening night last night. We had a full house. In fact, it was because of the snow. There actually was a ton of people that couldn't get in because we had already sold the theater out. And so, for now, as of now, there's going to be a rescheduling of the shows for next Thursday, at 7 p.m. And I don't even know if that's even going to stay. So, it's very disruptive indeed. And I was watching in the news, and did you know what happened today? What happened today was Broadway shows. All the Broadway shows got canceled. So people who bought their tickets in advance, you got to feel for them because they spend so much money on that. And it's very rare for Broadway shows to cancel just like that for an entire day, to actually get the day off like this. So So it's an amazing. So far, it's an amazing storm. All right. And so this will probably most likely be the last video while the snow is going on, and and my friend and I will probably come back to check out the park and survey how much snow there is on the ground in the morning when it becomes sunny. Hey everybody, once again, it's just a little bit past 8 o'clock now, and it's still snowing very hard. You can just even hear a little bit of the wind, even though the wind has died down considerably. But this is how much snow we've gotten. If you really want to know how much snow, I'm going to take a step forward. I'm going to show you how far. I was going to show you how far my foot goes down. This is my knee right here. It's already, and that's not even like to the very, very bottom, you know. So, and if you can see here, this is my car, and so you can see how high the snow is in relation to the tire. Like, you could barely see the tires at all. Even the bumper, you know, the snow is just as high as the bumper. And whoa, I just almost fell right there. And even if I zoom in, there's one car that is almost completely buried in the snow. You could barely see you can't even see the hood. You could just barely make the shape of it, but that is entirely covered by snow. And now we're just pretty much approaching the 24th hour that this snowstorm has been hitting us. And don't think it's going to be over just yet. According to the weather reports that I've been watching all day, last one I saw was just about half an hour ago, and there's still a lot of the storm left before it officially exits. Probably, I'd say around maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, but I know by dawn this storm is going to be gone completely. And, you know, we've shoveled the part of the driveway. We got another one left tomorrow, but there's already a coating on the ground. So, you know, you could probably tell it's been snowing a lot, you know, at a very fast rate. So, thanks for sticking with me, and a few more clips, and I think that'll be our storm video. So, do you want to find something nice to do on a Saturday night when you just got 2 feet of snow dumped on you? Well, put on some basketball gear, put on an ugly holiday sweater that you got in January as a late Christmas gift, and watch the Knicks game. Only if the Knicks weren't down by 16. So instead, I'm watching actually the debut of Saturday Primetime NBA on ABC. Cavs and the Bulls are playing, with Tyronn Lue making his head coaching debut after the Cavs, out of left field, fired David Blatt. Ridiculous? Yes, I don't care for either of those teams, but it looks like the Knicks are gonna head down the losing path again, so that's why I'm watching NBA on ABC instead, with 2 feet of snow on the ground, nevertheless. Good morning, everybody. It's January 24th, 2016, and as you can see, when I step on the snow, it's up to my knees, like I showed you last night. But as with all the morning afters, the snowstorm, I always try to get a measurement, and so I'm trying to like aim for that stack of snow that's up there. It's quite, feels like hiking on a mountain, sort of. Okay, so trying to measure this kind of snow, can't use a ruler. You gotta actually use tape measure. Well, because I don't have a yardstick. Okay, so I'm just trying to get an estimate, an unofficial estimate here. And I'd say, whoa, that ruler is slipping away a little bit. But if I measure, I'd say, okay, so I got it right here. From where that stack of snow, tip top, that's probably about, I'd say, 22.7 inches, 22.6 or 22.7 inches. Some of the snow is already melting because, as you can see, the sun is already glaring down on the snow pile here. But nevertheless, I'd say maybe before the sun came out, I'd say 23 inches, so just under 2 feet of snow. That's incredible. And in New York City, it is second on record with 26.8 inches. So this was one heck of a storm that lasted so long, and so much snow dumped on top of us in 24 hours. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out here at the park. I mentioned in another clip that this was the park where my friend and I was walking, and where I turned on my camera and I didn't have a memory card. But what I wanted to show you yesterday was the visibility. Because right where you see the lake in front of you, it's covered in snow. You couldn't see beyond that lake. So that's how much snow there was that was falling, as well as the blowing and drifting. Right now, there's a lot of snow on the ground, but the snow is melting. It's about 35 degrees outside right now, and if you account the sun beating down onto the ground, it makes the ground even a little warmer than that. So I've been walking around the neighborhood, and the snow plows and the snow blowers have been going off. So everybody's digging out. So yeah.